What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another down and dirty how-to with bugs. I know it's been a while since we did one of these, so let's see if we can start to bring this little series back alive again. I hope they do help you guys out that are trying to figure certain things out with various aircraft. I try my best to point out some of the more confusing stuff. So if you guys have an idea for a how-to, leave a comment, let me know. I'll do my best to help you guys out with whatever I have, and I will try to get an answer for you guys. So with that being said, for this one, what we're going to do is we're going to go do a little bit of air-to-ground work with the P-47, and that's going to be with bombs, rockets, and guns. We're going to mainly focus on the bombs and rockets for this one. So let's unpause really quick. Let's sit in the cockpit of the Jug for a moment. So for those of you that have the P-47 in DCS, you guys will notice that you have three different versions of it. You have the Blk-40, the Blk-35, and the Blk-40. Each one has a different layout on how you're going to employ the weapons on it, i.e. rockets and bombs. So for this one, we're going to focus on the Blk-40. This is the one that I mainly fly for you guys on video. I have flown the Blk-30 quite a few times. However, I have not done any combat work with the Blk-30. So if this gets enough traction and you guys like this, I will do one for the Blk-30 and the Blk-35. I do know how to operate the weapon systems on each of the different ones, so that's no big deal to me. Let me know what you guys are interested in, and we will take it from there. So before we jump in and get the old Jug fired up, let's have a look at our weapon panel really quick. So this is going to be one of the major differences between the Blk-30, 35, and 40 is the armament panel. So like I said, we're focusing on the Blk-40. This is what we're working with. The one thing that they do all have in common is down off to our left side, we have the armament handles here. We have to make sure that we pull those and arm the weapon stations, otherwise nothing is going to happen. So if you guys have the control space freed up, it's going to be the belly, left wing, right wing hardpoints. We're going to look at the controls in a second. So, you know what? Let's just jump in and look at that right now. So, we have the hard point arming. Okay. Those are going to be for, I believe... Okay, yep. So there's the belly, left, and right. Those are going to be those three handles down to our left-hand side. So with the Blk-40, we're also going to have to worry about the switches up front. We're going to do that with the mouse for now. It's no big deal. Nice and easy. The other biggest control that you guys are going to need set is going to be the weapon release and the fire machine guns. So those are the fire machine guns are going to obviously shoot the cannons off. The weapon release is going to be the one that drops the ordnance. That's going to be rockets and bombs. So now that we looked at that really quick, in the cockpit, what we have here on this armament panel is our arming switch for the hard points. The chemical release, I have not found a use for these yet, so I don't worry about those. These are going to be the 4 that we want. Your left wing, right wing, and your belly. Those are going to be your arming station or your arming switches to your stations. And then this one right here is going to switch us between bombs and drop tanks and rockets. So if you guys are carrying drop tanks with this also, you could pull it from here, or you could drop it from here with the pickle button on the joystick. Totally up to you guys. I've done both. Normally I'll just pull the 2 handles just to get the tanks off when the time comes. That's a whole nother thing with the fuel system. That is, I'm not even going to touch on that in this video. If you guys want to know about that, leave a comment and I will make a whole separate video on how the fuel system works on the P-47. So with all that being said, let's jump back in. Our armament panel, like I was saying. With this, the one thing you guys want to keep in mind is you have to arm the stations that you want to drop on. If you want to drop all 3, make sure all 3 of these are switched up. If you want to drop the belly only, make sure only the belly is selected. If nothing is on and you hit the pickle button, nothing is going to come off the airplane. If you want to drop, say, the left wing and you have everything else on and you hit the pickle button, everything is going to come off of it. So I will show you guys that once we get up in the air. As far as our loadout for this one, I have a 250-pound bomb on the belly, 2 500-pounders on the wing hard points, and we have 10 HVAL rockets plus the cannons. So we have a little bit of everything. I'll show you guys how to cycle through, how to drop the different ordnance. You guys are going to have to set the fusing as you see fit. Just keep that in mind. That has changed within the past couple of updates in DCS, so you guys really have to watch. I've learned that the hard way. As far as the livery is concerned, the creator of this did an awesome job. I love it. This is my favorite Thunderbolt. If I remembered the creator's name, and when I find it, I will leave a link in the video description to give him credit for it. It's an awesome livery. But let's get back to the meat and potatoes of it. I'm going to breeze through the cold start really quick. Let's get this baby fired up. And as far as our target area is concerned, we have a couple of infantry, Dishkas, or technicals, and 2 static airplanes to go drop on. I did set the technicals to not shoot at us because it is a tutorial. I really don't want us getting shot down in the middle of it. Hopefully I set it the right way. If it starts going south, then we're just going to bug out and we'll recoup from there. So here we go. Let's get that set. Let's get that locked for the startup. Alright guys, I'm just going to breeze through this really quick. There's really no need for me to narrate the entire cold start of the jug. I've done this quite a few times to you guys, so we're just gonna get going here. And actually, as she's warming up, we will take a look at the rearm refuel window, at the fusing selections for us, so that does work. Clear. Take a look at the fusing selection so you guys can see we're a little bit overweight, so we'll touch on that on the takeoff really quick. But this little orange tab here, let's click that, and this will give you your fusing selection, so set them as you guys see fit. I'm not playing with them right now.
Request rearming. Copy.
That's not what I wanted to do. Warm this baby up a little bit, and then
rearming complete.
We'll get going. Alright, so the other panel we're going to want to look at really quick here, guys, is going to be this one right in front of us, in front of the joystick. This is how you're going to set how many rockets you guys salvo off when you hit the pickle button when you have the rockets selected. So we're gonna go drop the 500 pounders and then the 250, then we'll come back in for rockets and guns, just so we save a little bit of weight and a little bit of drag. So we're gonna go ahead and get this set up right now. I like to set it to single. This way, each time you hit the pickle button, one rocket comes off. This way you guys can see where it goes and adjust your aim from there, just to save a little bit on ammunition. So, totally up to you guys, however you guys want to do it. So that's set, that's set. Okay, we're gonna go with our bombs and tank selection on the far right here, and we're going to on the left wing and the right wing station, and then down here the left and the right wing. And it's on the belly just as well. Okay. So now all of our bombs are armed. Nothing is going to come off because we do not have this enabled yet. But right now, the fusing is set on the bombs. Normally, I'll do this after takeoff, but just for the tutorial to show you guys how to do this, we'll do it on the ground. So we should have our gun sight rheostat turned up. So when we hit this, we got our sight. Alright, we're looking good temperature wise. Let's start taxiing out and we will start working from there. So we're going to have to be a little careful on takeoff because we are a little heavy, so we're going to have to trim accordingly. We have plenty enough runway on this one, so we're not going to have to worry too much about the methanol injection on takeoff. If you guys have a short runway and you're heavily loaded, then absolutely. You have to introduce methanol injection with the supercharger to get her up in the air, but we'll be okay without it. Temperatures are starting to look good. So by the time we get lined up, we should be pretty well set temperature wise to start our takeoff rollout. And our target area is marked by a couple of balloons up in the air, so we know where we're going. Fairly straight. Just lock the tail wheel. Alright guys. So from here, it's just your normal takeoff routine. You set everything as you see fit, as needed. And once we get up in the air, then we'll worry about the rest of the stuff. So let me just breeze through this takeoff really quick, and then I'll be right back with you guys. Alright, here we go guys. And the next step will be getting her armed up and set up ready to go. So let's run this takeoff and we'll take it from there. takeoff tutorial. So they are heavy, so. So we didn't wipe out on takeoff, so that's all I really care about right now. Alright, well, let's get control over this thing, and then we'll set her on up from here. Like I said, this wasn't about the takeoff. Don't bust my balls about it. I know it sucked. I'm not happy about it, but it is what it is. We're in the air. And we'll continue from there. Let's trim this thing out. Trim it out. Alright guys, so from here what we're going to want to do is let's come to our armament panel down here, flip the cover up, select the switch up into the arm position, your master arm, cover, gun and camera, and now we're ready to go. Make sure you guys have those 3 handles pulled up and turned, otherwise we're going to be here for a really bad time. You're going to drop the bombs off the airplane and they're not going to do anything because we're not armed. So really quick, I'm going to hit the active pause. We're going to work with our reticle here and the line on the front of the airplane here. So depending on if you guys want to do a dive bombing run or a glide bombing run, totally up to you. To get rid of the 500 pounders, we're going to do a glide run. So we're going to keep it up at altitude to an extent, straight and level, hope for the best, time it right, and let them off. And we'll see what happens from there. So, for the one in the belly, we'll do a dive run, or attempt to do a dive run. Same thing with the rockets and the cannons, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So, here we go. Our target area off to our right. Let's get a little bit of altitude so we don't frag ourselves, because that would not be good. We're going to keep the prop full forward. Mixtures in auto rich. Just keep an eye on your temperatures and pressures. We're looking pretty good on all ends of it. Keep an eye on your manifold pressure. I like to keep it around 42 inches of manifold pressure doing something like this, unless you actually absolutely need to firewall it and punch it, but just compensate with the throttle, that's all. Just keep an eye on your instruments at this point, guys. There's no HUD in this thing with a pitch ladder that'll tell you that. You guys gotta glance down at your instruments. So we have the target area marked and in sight. So what I'm gonna do is it's marked from the air for the glide run. I'm going to line my nose up right in the middle of these guys here that are highlighting the target area. So we'll keep that center line of the airplane that I was showing you guys earlier. That 50-degree mark. Yes. 60-degree mark. I'm sorry, guys. 60-degree mark. We're gonna keep that right in line with these guys. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Alright, so now we have to compensate and keep in mind the drop time. Alright, so here come the two 500-pounders. Away. So let's go to the bombs coming off. Boom. Alright, they blew up, but we missed. Alright, so they were fused, but we missed totally. So let's give it a little bit of power. So now if we come to an external of the airplane, two wing hard points are gone, and then we have the belly left. So what we're going to do here, let's shut these off for now, let's arm the belly, and now once we hit the pickle button, your ordnance on your belly is going to come off. So we're going to try for a dive run on this one. I want to chalk that up to as I really couldn't see, but that's okay. And that's good that the discus didn't shoot at us, so I'm happy about that. So let's set a little bit of a dive angle on this one. There's our target area right in line with the reticle. Just watch our speed, watch temperatures, pressures. Yeah, we came in way short. Bomb away. So now the belly should have come off, and there we go. There it did. Kaboom. And just like that, guys. Now our ordnance is off the belly. That was the 250-pounder. So, like I said, now let's switch over to our rockets. So, what we're going to do for that, let's safe the belly. Switch to rockets. I always put the right and left wing arming station on just because. Make sure we have this set as you see fit. I'm going to do it with singles just to show you guys that each hit of the pickle button will send off one rocket. So if you guys are quick on it, you can lob off quite a few. So I'll send off one and then another, and then we'll come around for another pass, and then I'll salvo the whole thing with single shots, and I'll show you what I'm talking about with that. Alright, so here we go. Let's come back in around. Alright, nice and gentle now. Just line them up. Nice and easy. So work with your symbology on your gun sight reticle. So let's hit one off. So they came off in pairs, way short. There's another two. 2, 1, 2, 3. And nothing, nothing, and nothing. So you have to work with the reticle just a little bit with the rockets. But that's how you get them off the aircraft. So now what we're going to do, let's go ahead and save that. Let's save that. You can keep this on rockets, that's totally fine. Now we're going to be working with the big guns. So for those of you that are not too familiar with the old Jug or the P-47, she's got 8 Browning 50 cals, 4 in each wing, and they pack one hell of a punch. So we're gonna roll in and we're gonna come in for a gun run, and I'll show you guys what I mean with that. This is my favorite weapon to employ on the P-47, or the guns, cannons, whatever you guys want to call them. They are super effective, and they do get the job done. So here we go. Let's line up nice and steady. Keep easy. Trigger down, trigger down, trigger down. There we go. Just like that. Couple of good hits. Let's roll in for another one. Let's get a little bit more altitude, and then we'll come back in for a little bit of a steeper dive, and we'll try it that way. Temperatures and pressure still look good. And she carries plenty of ammo. Just be gentle with her. Don't be hasty with holding the trigger on a run. So, a short little burst with the Jug will most certainly get the job done. So, let's do that for this run-in. There was a Dishka. That was from our gun run. Alright, nice and gentle. Here we go. Let's level out. Let's get a nice approach vector coming, and here we go. Nice shallow glide slope. I don't want too steep. We're not a dive bomber. Nice, gentle, short burst, just like that, guys, does the job. So we did get a couple of good hits. You just have to line up your targets in your reticle where you want them. So we did get one of the infantry guys and one of the static airplanes. Let's see if we can roll back in on a sharp one. A little bit of a steeper angle here. Alright, here we go. Just gonna watch your altitude, watch your speed, glide slope and all that, so you don't want to smack into the ground. So let's roll back in for a little bit of a steeper one. So she can be pretty accurate. Alright, let's roll in for the last one. And then we'll take it from there. Alright, that's it, guys. Or Winchester. Aircraft is safe. We're on the way home. So that in a nutshell is air to ground with the P-47. Like I said, you guys are gonna have to play with your fusing as you guys see fit for whatever scenario you guys are working with. This is with the Blk-40, specific to the Blk-40 P-47. The Blk-35 and the Blk-30 are totally different. I will do one of those if you guys would like to see that. There's enough interest. I really hope you guys found this helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe for more. Check out the Bugs' DCS Cruise Discord server. If you guys have any trouble with any of it, I'd be more than happy to help you guys out. We got plenty of talented warbird pilots on there. We'll get you through it. Until the next sortie, strap in, arm up the seat, and keep flying.